everybody, welcome back. Happy December 2nd. I hope your guys' holiday season is off to a great start. I am going to be working today on my story number 2. And before I even dive in, I just want to give a huge heartfelt thank you for your comments and those who have reached out as far as some of what I talked about yesterday with our fertility and the different struggles. And we did have an appointment today. Things definitely are not in our favor, or wasn't the news we were hoping for, but in some ways we kind of expected. So that I'm not going to go too much into that because it's still pretty raw and new, but there probably will be a story later in December that might be about that, or it might just go in our Project Life album or something. So switching gears, we're going to dive in. I'm going to be working on the back side of page 1, and yesterday we put this together. I was using a pattern paper, canvas pocket that was from last year's collection, and then one photo and a couple journal cards here. So one of the first things I want to get started with is using this pattern paper. So I printed this photo out a second time. I did clean off my desk because it picked up so much glitter. It was really bad. And this is what cleaning up this desk looks like. It might be time to actually get a different desk or for my workspace. But so here is a photo that I took. This is using my big camera, my Nikon Z7. That's a mirrorless camera. Put it on a tripod, and I just put up the self timer for this. And I did this when Ben and I were decorating under the tree. So part of what I've done, I think since my very first tree, and I'll share a little bit of my journaling in just a second, or when we wrap this up, I should say, but I put aluminum foil underneath the tree to use as a reflector, then about 300 strands of the white lights, and then just tons of yards of tulle, and I bunched that around the tree just to create my own skirt. So here's a photo of that. I love that Henry is helping us. And so my journaling was talking about around the tree, and I happened to find, I think I forgot about it, but going through my supplies, there is a 4x4 journal card that says around the tree. I thought, well, that is going to be perfect. So part of my plan here is to use this journal card on this will be the left side, on this side of the page, and just going to tuck that in. I went ahead already and trimmed down one of the page protectors that was part of the 10x8 album, and it has the 2 4x4s and the 2 4x6s. So I already went ahead and trimmed this down. And then my plan is to tuck this in. And what I'm thinking, I've pulled out a few different things here, whether it's testing out some chipboard or some embellishments, but I also trimmed down a piece of the transparency. I think this one was specifically part of the 3x8 transparency pack this year, or it could have been last year, but it has a grid with the gold foil. Now, obviously this doesn't fit a perfect 4x4, depending upon how you cut it, because I think these are about 3.75, but just manipulating it or turning the transparency horizontally, I was able to get a 4x4 that way. And of course it doesn't fill up the top, but I'm okay with that. This page protector I did already cut down too, so this card can pull out of that. So the first thing I'm going to do here is adhere this paper to the back side of this one using rolling adhesive, and then work on my photo. So I'm going to put you guys a little bit on fast forward. I might have some music, or I might come in and just start explaining a little bit of my process, but we will wrap up with an overview, and I will share my journaling in a little bit.
All right, so getting started here, the first thing I need to do is adhere the pattern papers back to back. And because of this pattern, it really doesn't matter which direction it is going. I think when I looked at it, there's more of these snowflakes or starbursts that were intersecting with one of the horizontal sides than the other. So I just thought I wanted to put that towards the top. Grabbing over my 6-hole punch and punching the holes in. That way it'll also help me decide, one, so I don't forget, right? But help me decide where to put this page protector. Using some red line tape just going to add that to the outsides of this, and that will go in the center of the page. Now, another option, rather than doing a pocket like I am, you could do just the journal card. Maybe you do just the journal card and you use that gold washi tape that was included in the main kit this year and create a frame for it. There are always, tons and tons of directions you can take any of these projects, whether that I'm showing or members in the community are showing. So just trying to line this up there. It didn't look quite centered, and just sliding that over a little bit to get it to line up, grabbing my rulers, making sure it's straight, just those little things sometimes that really don't matter in the long run. And same thing, checking to see how it is. So grabbing that piece of transparency that I previously had cut and peeling off the plastic backing for that, I think I do decide it needs to be adjusted, and I might do that in a minute. Here's my journaling. I mentioned before I printed this out on my laser printer, just on regular copy paper, and then ran that through the Mink. Just trying to line that up on that negative space of the journal card. It's approximately 4 inches wide by 2.5 inches. Approximately, that's what it ended up being. So there you can see I'm fussing around, needing to add more adhesive, need to possibly, that's where I'm thinking I want to trim that transparency. It's fine. I could have left it. It would have been fine. But just the edge didn't look 100% straight to me, even though there's technically no such thing as a straight edge, but still I wanted to get it as close as possible. So on the back side, I'm pulling over another photo that I took when we were setting up the tree, and this is just of my husband, and I thought that was fun. So one thing I'm debating here on the top is using one of these tab stickers, but rather than it you being able to see it on the front side and the back side of the photo, I want it to be sandwiched in between both of those. Me personally, that's just a preference. A lot of times I just like the clean look of that rather than it being on top of my photo or on top of a journal card or a piece of paper or anything of that nature. So before I even put this in, I start debating what I want to put on that pocket. But I'm thinking things through while I go and trim down that photo. Do I want that what is it, a 2-inch circle die cut? Do I want a piece of chipboard? And one thing I kept coming back to again and again was that white star. You see me, I had it on there, then I took it off. I had it on there, I took it off. I tried just a solid number. And I kept coming back to that just because it added a little bit of shine, and it helped tie in even more of the gold that you have on the journal card and the transparency and then that tab. But at least with it was white, it was enough to break it apart because there's a lot of heaviness or dark going on with the black pattern paper, the black and white photo. So that's part of why I decided not to do or not to use any of the black embellishments or black numbers, and also why I decided not to add anything to the photo. If you've been around for a while, or even if you're new here, you may know I am someone who does not always embellish my photos. I like a lot of times for my photos just to stand on their own. So finishing up, picking out number 2. This is a small number 2 puffy sticker, a gold one, and that's going to be a wrap for story number 2, guys.
All right, everybody, that is going to be a wrap for my story 2. You can see here I still haven't punched the holes, and that's because I'm going to wait until my story 3, which I believe my plan, I think, is what I'm going to do is have a photo on the back side of this. So that way I can we'll adhere them down when I go to work on story 3, and I only have to punch the holes once. So just to recap, using a piece of pattern paper, trimming down a page protector to create a pocket, tucking in a little bit of a transparency, adding in my journaling card. And this is with, I ended up printing out, I believe I already mentioned this, printing out all of my words on my laser printer, just on regular copy paper, and minked it. And then adding a little star and a number 2. So I'll go ahead and share this with you, and then a photo on the back. Early in November, Ben set up the artificial tree in the breakfast nook. It was my idea to do this because I wanted to see how Henry would handle the tree. After his initial curiosity, he did great. The Sunday after Thanksgiving, Ben and I both put the lights on the tree. Normally he does this, but I didn't mind helping. After a debate on how to hang them and then Googling, this year we strung the lights vertically as opposed to horizontally, from top to bottom. It's how the Rockefeller Center hangs the lights on their tree. Who knew? It turned out great, and I honestly think it looks better. I then began the process of decorating. First, I started with my favorite ribbon, one that is so old and seen better days, but that I just can't seem to part with. Next, I hung the golden red baubles from the branches. These are also showing signs of wear, and it might just be their last year. In the evening, Ben helped me with the tree skirt. Since my first apartment, I have done this every year under the tree. I lay sheets of aluminum foil on the floor, then 3 100 strands of clear lights. I finish this off by bunching yards of tulle and weaving the lights through the fabric. This tradition is one of my favorites and fills me with so much joy, and I'm so happy Henry helped out this year. So just a little bit about around the tree. I love that, this might be a little hard to get this in and out. I might have to rethink this a little bit, but that's okay. People can figure it out. I love though that this is, this type of photo is something that I've taken every year. I have a photo with just me under the tree, a photo with Ben and I, and we were in, I think, different positions. We have one of us last year. Now we have Henry in it. So I love taking the same types of photos every year, and, there's always something that's slightly different. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and then I will be back here tomorrow to work on my story 3. Also, if you guys are following along or playing along with the December photo hunt, don't forget to tag your photos, DEC, so the abbreviated of December, DEC Daily Hunt 2022. Okay, let me try that again. If you guys are following along in playing along with the December photo hunt, don't forget to tag your photos. That's the abbreviation of December, so DEC Daily Hunt 2022. And in my stories every day, I am sharing one of my photos, past or present, and then also sharing your guys's photos, layouts, or what you have shared in your stories. Till tomorrow, guys. Take care.